It's been a hard day and night, and I've been working like a dog.
Are you ready to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk all about small business here on With the Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts on my website at syklein.com. And be sure to get on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our show so you don't miss a single episode. Today, we're going to dive into the crucial role of preparation in achieving success with a very special guest, Matthew Mitchell. Matthew is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, a highly sought-after speaker, and a head coach, formerly head coach from University of Kentucky women's basketball program. A three-time SEC Coach of the Year, Matthew built his team's success on the foundation of what he calls the winning tools principles: honesty, hard work, and discipline. His new book, Ready to Win: How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation, shares the proven principles that lead to resilience, preparation, and growth both on and off the court. Matthew, welcome to the show.
It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Matthew, you've had incredible success as a coach. Early in your career at the University of Kentucky, you incorporated elements of former head coach Mickey DeMoss's approach to preparation. What specifically about her approach resonated with you, and why did you adopt it?
Well, Mickey was just a master at preparation. And when I got with her, my preparation was really at a surface level. And she taught me how to dive deep and get to a substantive search for the answers that we were going to need when the going got tough in competition. And so basketball is a dynamic game. A lot of stuff is happening in there, and the better prepared you are, the better chance you have to win. And she really taught me how to dive into the details and get really, really prepared.
You learned from the best. Absolutely. And can you give us a specific example, Matthew, of how your rigorous preparation regimen translated into tangible results for your team?
No doubt. In the book, I give the example of in competition. And so everybody is competing at some level in whatever business you're in. And so when you get time to compete, when it's showtime, when it's game time, you need to be ready. And I relate this in the book about a story when we were getting ready to play a big game versus the University of Georgia on the road, and we knew the game could possibly come down to the last minute or so. That was how evenly matched we were. And so we went through all of the late game situations the day of the game, and sure enough, we come up at the end of the game needing to be ready for this late game situation. And because we were prepared, we were able to execute when the going was tough, and we were able to get that done. And that was all because we thought beforehand about what we might be faced with in that opportunity. So I think just making sure that you get prepared before you get into the competition is so important.
Absolutely. Matthew, in your book, you talk about how greatness isn't some mystical quality, but rather the result of a commitment to constant preparation. We say that in the Army all the time. Can you elaborate on what that constant preparation looks like in practice?
Well, where I learned that, I had the great fortune of working for one of the greatest coaches of all time, Pat Summitt. If our listeners aren't familiar with her, I would ask, I'd invite them to look her up. She was the first college basketball coach to win 1,000 games in women's or men's college basketball. She's an absolute legend, 8 national championships. And I got to work with her. And so when I went to work with her, I thought I was going to find the solution, the magic answer to whatever magic question there is to really be great, because she was so great. And what I found out was the great ones out there are so consistent with their preparation. So Coach Summitt came to practice every day, not with any magic tricks, but just with a consistent commitment to being prepared. The team knew what they needed to do that day to get better and to move forward. And so I think sometimes we look at people who we deem to be great, and we feel like we compare ourselves to them and think we can never measure up to where they are. And I just say in the book, we should be inspired by these people and try to find one thing that we can mimic. And for me, that was consistency in my preparation. And I learned that from Coach Summit.
I'm chatting with Matthew Mitchell, and we gave Matthew's full bio in the show intro. But what you have done and what you continue to do is nothing short of extraordinary. Again, the author of a new book, Ready to Win: How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation, quite literally gives the secret to the tests. It gives the answers to the test over here. A lot of it is about the mindset, which I know you talk about in the book, which plays a huge role in success. How do you advise people to cultivate the right mindset for excellence and consistent preparation?
Well, the biggest thing that I would share today, and I think one of the real important parts of the book is the first mindset that we talk about is just really viewing excellence and chasing excellence every day and understanding how rewarding that can be in our lives. And I learned this because for many years as a coach, as you are in a scoreboard environment and you win or you lose each game, I really found myself down into a spot where I was chasing perfection. And when we chase perfection, that really gets us into some negative mindsets, because if everything has to be perfect, you are really, really looking at all of the things that can go wrong. And I made a huge leap in my leadership when I traded perfection for excellence. Perfection so many times paralyzed my thinking and made me hesitant. And when I embraced just being excellent every day, committing to having the greatest attitude I can control that. Giving the greatest effort, I can control that. And when I do that, I can really, really chase excellence. And excellence is so rewarding. And excellence actually exhilarates instead of perfection paralyzing my thinking. Excellence, that pursuit really exhilarates my thinking. And I see all the opportunities that are in front of me.
Matthew, you're now applying the principles that you honed in as a basketball coach and sharing it, of course, as we talk about organizational leadership. Can you share another example of how your athletic preparation translates to and drives success in the business world?
Oh, there's so many parallels. And I think that's what's been so fun to see it translate into the business world. And at the end of the day, we all have to have success with people. We have to have success with other people. And I think when we think we can do it alone, we are really mistaken in that. And so when you think about the building blocks of teamwork and how being prepared as an athletic team can show up on the scoreboard, it's the same in business. When we really value each other, we value others' time, we value their talent, and we see where other people can really boost us and help us be our best. That is totally translatable into business, just like it is in athletics. And I've seen it time and time again. The best teams really rise to the occasion over and over and can move towards sustained success.
All right. Well, Matthew, we're coming to the end of our time over here. For someone who's listening to the program, be it an entrepreneur, small business owner, or really any other professional who wants to improve their level of preparation, what would you say is that first step that they should take?
I think that part that we just talked about, just having faith in yourself, believing that your best is good enough. You don't have to be the best. You can just be your best each and every day. And I think that puts us into a powerful frame of mind, and preparation can powerfully position us to win, gives us an opportunity to be successful. And just viewing every experience that we have, this has been something that I've embraced. No losses. There's only lessons. And the lessons, if I will learn from the lessons, I will be constantly improving. And that's what I'd share with the listeners today.
I love it. Lots of great homework assignments, lots of great practical tips over here. And one of the most important practical tips that I want to leave our listeners with is how they can find your book and learn more about your important work. How can they do so?
CoachMatthewMitchell.com. They can find everything that we offer and do for businesses. We'd love to come in and help people and their team. And CoachMatthewMitchell.com. You can find us on social media everywhere at Coach Matthew Mitchell. And then finally, we have a podcast, The Coach Matthew Mitchell Show, that comes out every Wednesday. So we'd love for people to check us out there as well.
Amazing. Well, it's a great read, and you're doing such important work learning from an amazing, impressive, award-winning career in basketball, and now applying these lessons really to professionals of all kinds. Thank you so much for joining us, Matthew Mitchell. We'll link in the show notes as well. But we've got a lot more in store for you this week, listeners, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. As mentioned in the intro, be sure you get on your favorite podcast app. Just search for Get Down to Business. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. And remember, we are sponsored by our good friend Tom Mirabali for all of your health insurance needs. Visit healthplanchicago.com, healthplanchicago.com. A quick break. Don't touch that dial.